Hello friends, look what Ohuhu have sent me. 36 markers of the Honolulu Plus and 24 markers of the Honolulu Plus, which is sort of fun. They come in these really cool cases, which is, I guess, polyurethane or something, which is different to their other cases, which is sort of more of a canvassy feel. So these are my Ohuhu markers. Let's have a look at them. This is the 24 set. So they're round, which is pretty cool. And we have two nibs. We have a brush nib, which is lovely. It's lovely to have some brush nibs. And there's a chisel nib on the other side, which is different to my Oahu's, which have a fine nib, and they have this chisel nib. So let's compare the chisel nibs. So pretty much the same, but a little different. So these are a limited range at the moment. I think it's just these two packs, the 36 and the 24. Some of the colours are the same across the packs. And this is a different nib. This is a rubber nib as opposed to the nylon nib, I think, which is on just the normal Honolulu series. And I like the little nibs, which mean that they're not going to roll off the table on you, which is always a problem with a round thing. So I'm excited to have this, and I'm excited to try them out because I am a fan of the brush nibs. So what else do you get in the pack? You get a sheet. This is a bleed-through sheet. A little booklet which gives you lots of information, which I'm not going to read to you now, and you get a swatch sheet. I love these swatch sheets. You've got to swatch colours to use them, I think. I think the 36 set is the same. I love the zippers and this little nifty. So the same thing, you get a bleed sheet, you get a little booklet, and you also get the swatch sheet for that one. I'm going to start with this, I think. Start with the 36 set and swatch them out, see how we go. Now, the Ohuhu numbering system is always a challenge. I have an older set of the Oahu's, and I know that the new set of Oahu's, they've got a whole new numbering system, so the numbers for the same colours are different in the new sets to the old sets, which is exciting, keeps you on your toes. So I've started to, in the top of my colour along videos, you'll notice I've got the colour of my old set, but also in brackets, the colour of the new set. And I don't know if this is any different, Honolulu Plus versus the Honolulus, because I don't have the Honolulus, but there are, on the Ohuhu site, there are graphs showing the colours and which ones match up and all that sort of stuff. So that might be worth looking at if you want to do it, but I'm going to just check it out. So this is Canary, which is different to Canary Yellow. Canaria Yellow, I think, which is the one. All right, let's swatch this. So as you can see from the swatches, you get quite a broad range, although it does seem to be quite heavy on the greys. And there are some really dark colours. So I guess I've been spoilt with my 320 set of Oahu's. This is a different sort of vibe, I guess more pastels. But, you know, It's fun to have different brush nibs. Fun to try out the new Honolulu Plus brush nibs. I guess the easiest way to do that is to just introduce them to a colouring book and colour with them. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to colour from a book called Lost and Found. If you don't have Lost and Found, that's all right, because it's also a picture that's included in the February Colour Club pack from rjhampson.com. And this is called A Key to My Heart. The Key to My Heart, because it's February, and of course the theme for February is Valentines, Palantines. This is a heart, which fits well into that theme, I think. I do have a sheet of paper and a sheet of acetate under this page just to protect it. Well, let's start with our rose. We've got some reds. Let's play with our reds. I'm just going to kick off with my raspberry. I'm a big fan of a brush nib, let me tell you. I'm going to bring in this lighter colour, Ballet Pink. Just want to blend that in. Maybe bring some more of that raspberry back in. Yeah, a bit of magenta. I'm thinking this is a bit darker. It's not a lot darker though, is it? I've got these other flowers here. I think I'm going to bring in that same colour. So let's do the Ballet Pink first. Yeah, a little bit of raspberry. I'm going to try out the chisel nib. Might be getting a little bit more traction with the chisel nib for blending, maybe. And I'm a big fan of the brush nib. I love this. You can fill in a big area, or if you press them more lightly, you can just get a fine nib. It'll be interesting to see how these wear and tear. Do they hold their own, or do they become all sort of fuzzy and blurry? From what I can tell from watching other people use them, they pretty much hold their nib really well. So that's the goal. We're back to the raspberry. All right, bringing in two lighter colours. This is cotton pearl and lychee juice. So I'm going to bring my cotton pearl, and where am I going to use that? Well, first of all, I'm going to play with it down here on these flowers. So that's the cotton pearl, and I want to bring in some lychee juice, which I think is a bit darker. I think I'm going to play with that cotton pearl around this stonework around the frame of the door here. Yeah, a little bit of lychee juice. We're just adding texture in at this point. It's going to be really subtle because the colours are pretty similar. Right, let's look at these keys. We've got all these keys, so we need to do some brass work. How are we going to do that? Well, I think we need maybe some yellows, canary and melon yellow. I actually think the canary might be too much, so I'm going with the lighter one, which is the butter. Right, let's test it out. This is butter. Then a little bit of melon yellow. And then a bit of camel. It's going to help us put in some shadows on that. Well, I think we do the same to all our keys. So we're starting with our butter. I think you can these nibs, you can go fast with these nibs because you can adjust the pressure and the thickness, so you can just fill in these areas. So let's go fast. Right now I'm bringing in the melon yellow. I'm bringing back in that camel. And we've got some of these fittings, let's I think make them brass as well. So I'm going to do the same treatment with the butter. I'm even tempted to do that in that brass rather than in like a wrought iron. Yeah, I think a bit of melon yellow. And I'm trying to create all of those little reflections off while leaving the highlights of that butter colour behind. And these nibs do make it really easy to blend, so that's great. Camel, let's bring that camel back. All right, I'm going to look at that door. No, I'm not. I might leave the door till last. A pale moss and a sea green. Let's see where that takes us. And this is a sea green. And I think that sort of works, at least for the leaves. I'm bringing out my sea green again, just to introduce that darker colour into the leaves. I was wondering about adding something a little bit on the woody side for the... I might just go with the oyster grey. I'm just going to do that pale moss and sea green all the way around on all these bigger vines. I'll leave the little ones because maybe we'll introduce a brighter green into there, but we'll see what it looks like when we're finished. All right, bring back that oyster grey just to put a little bit of shading texture colour into these vines. I'm just going to play with this honeydew melon. Just on the vines and things. And I'm bringing the sea green back just for these little background leaves. I'm finding I need to concentrate a little bit more because I'm used to the fine nibs where you can just push because it's the same thickness, whereas these, if I don't keep it nice and light, if I push a little bit too much, it blows out, goes over the lines. But I guess that's just use and technique, isn't it? As you get more used to them, you become better at being in the lines, maybe. And I might just put a little bit of pale moss in just to create shadows on this vibrant green we've used. I'm going to bring this camel back because I want the centres of these flowers to be a little bit darker. And this is a colour called maple syrup. Now, the question is, guys, do we do a red door? Do we do a dark green door? Do we do a wood door? I'm tempted to go with a red, though a nice dark green door would be lovely, wouldn't it? This is tomato, which is a different red to that we used on the flowers. Let's put it in, see how we go. I'm going to mix that with this colour called Aged Cherry Wood. So I'm compromising, I'm going a red door, but it's going to have a bit of woody darkness to it. Back to the tomato. Don't push too hard so I don't blur out my lines. Fill in all my lovely brasswork with tomato. And back to our aged cherry wood. Back to our aged cherry wood. I love you can flick and it becomes a thin line. Really are quite fun to blend with, these little guys. It becomes a little bit more illustrative in a lot of ways. And I'm just going to bring a little bit of raspberry in. See if I can pull that red in a little bit more towards the colour of our... It's the thing where you've got a small set and you don't have exactly the colours you want. You can sometimes get away with it by mixing. What about if we add a little bit of tomato in to our flowers, just to sort of help tie it together a little bit? And I'm loving this flick that you can do with these nibs. Add a little tomato in here. All right, I'm bringing in two colours, seafoam green and mint wisp, because I want to do a background. Might be a little bit too close to the greens. So I'm going to bring in another colour called pastel yellow. I'm just going to roll a little blend across. Yeah, a bit of mint wisp. And the seafoam green. You know, I think I might bring in frost just to get more blue in there. Then greens might get lost with all the green, but if I do the blue, put that pale yellow in there as well. Bit of frost. Pastel yellow. pastel yellow. Right, this is a colour called Platinum Grey, and I just want to add a little bit more definition to the shadows on these vines. All right, I'm bringing in some jelly roll. This is jelly roll with a bit of sparkle in it. I think this is Clear Star, so it's just sparkle that I'm going to add to some keys. Because it's the key to the heart, so it's going to have to be sparkle involved, isn't there? I guess you're asking, am I going to use sparkly jelly roll on everything I do now? And I'm going to say no, unless it's applicable. And this seems applicable. And this one's called copper jelly roll, which has got a colour in it, which I think is going to look really good in the centre of these flowers. And then this one's called Red Star. And I'm bringing in just a plain white jelly roll because I want to put in some highlights. I'm just going to wait a little while everything dries so that my smudging is reduced, if that's possible. And let's get some white on the edges of these rose petals. Well, I think I'm going to call that one finished. Well, what a delight. So much fun to colour with these new Ohuhu Honolulu Plus pens. I'm quite fond of the nibs. It's a whole different experience really from colouring with my normal Ohuhus. And the nibs, blending is sort of fun. You can get different variations in the ink coverage by different pressure, and overall I'm quite happy with these, to have them in my kit of colouring tools. It'd be nice if I had, I'm addicted now to the huge colour set, so still got my eye on that Honolulu 320 set. One day I'll get that, just see how that goes. But for now, Honolulu Plus, thumbs up from me. Hope you enjoyed colouring along with me today with Key to My Heart and trying out the new Honolulu Plus markers. Remember to like and subscribe, guys, and leave your comments below. No doubt I shall see you in another video, but for now, I'm going to say goodbye. See you later.